Oh, hey, B. It's JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel. I am back for us to talk more about Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have to talk about Miss Phaedra Parks just a little bit. We'll get into Phaedra, okay? We got to also touch on those ratings when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, amongst other things. But one of the main reasons that you guys are likely here is because of Miss Britt Edie, all right? Britt Edie has not been having a great first year as a housewife over there on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And, she recently had an event for Bare and Naked. And unfortunately, honey, not only did the event not go well for her, but not the wedding planner, the event planner actually came out and she has some things to say. And it appears that Miss Edie may owe her some money. Okay. And we're going to touch on that in just a second. In just a second, we will get into the details of that. But first, I want us to check out this video of Miss Phaedra Parks where she sat with InStyle magazine and she has some things to say about the cast that I want us to get into it. So let us do just that. All right.
Hate to be shady unless I really have to.
How have you seen the fashion on Housewives evolve over the years?
Everyone has their own style, and it's definitely evolved for some people, but some people have definitely stayed in their lanes. I mean, you've got the fashion girls like Marlo, who always were very couture, everything expensive, Marlo had it. But then you've got people like Cynthia that like the thrift. So you want to buy people's used clothes. Okay, all right. But
I mean, Marlo rents out used clothes, right? Doesn't she have like some type of location where she rents out maybe her closet? And then I don't know why I thought Phaedra owned her own consignment shop, which really isn't too much different than a thrift store, really, if you ask me. So I said, now why is she over there throwing shade at Cynthia like that?
she does it well.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, it's probably saving the planet.
Now, out of
That's not nice.
the new batch of Housewives, who would you say is the best dressed?
Probably Britt Edie.
What do you like about her style?
She wears clothes beautifully because of that very long legs, very lean body. But she's got great taste.
She loves a strong shoulder.
Yes, honey, yes.
Now, who would you say needs some fashion advice?
A few of them. I hate to
Not
be
a few of
shady.
Not a few of them, girl. A few of them. Which I'll agree with Miss Phaedra Parks that Brit is the most fashionable one on the show. I'm trying to see. I think I can't recall a lot of the looks Brit has worn on the show. I do recall the latest outfit, the pink with the polka dots or whatnot, because girl, she was about to bust out the outfit, right? I mean, it was cute. It was cute for what it was, but she really almost bust out the outfit. However, her looks on her Instagram, yes, I do think that she does have some style. I like the looks that I see on Instagram. I just can't recall how she's shown up on the show, but y'all let me know who y'all would say is best dressed or worst dressed when it comes to this cast, all right? And as we speak of Phaedra, y'all know she just made her reappearance on Real Housewives of Atlanta on Sunday. She came in at the very end of the episode, though. I feel like Phaedra was only there for like 5 minutes or less when she popped in. And they really could have saved it for the next episode, in my personal. But what I will say is that a lot of people have been talking about the ratings because it appears that the ratings were at about 464 million. All right. I'm sorry, 464,000 viewers is what they got, right? For this past Sunday's episode. Now, that is definitely a major drop, in my opinion, in comparison to last week. It was like 525,000, and then now it dropped to 464. Now, a lot of people are cackling, okay, especially Miss Kenya. Miss Kenya dropped some eyes down there on one of those posts, like, ooh, and y'all thought she was supposed to come save the show? Well, in my personal, I don't know if that is what they thought because of how late in the game Phaedra was coming. Right. And to be honest, it appears that the ratings just kept dropping more and more ever since Kenya left, for real. They just kept tipping under just a little bit. And this past Sunday was a series low is what they're saying. Now, I do understand that it was Memorial Weekend. Some people was out partying and hanging out or whatever the case. I don't know if that does or does not have anything to do with it. But I am a bit surprised that it dropped below 500. I probably would have thought it would have at least been just 500,000 flat or something like that, right? But 464 is a very significant number. So we'll have to see how things are going to hold up for next week's episode. I don't know. I know y'all going to leave y'all thoughts anyway. I don't know if it has a lot to do with, Phaedra's back, so I'm not going to watch the show, because honestly, she really wasn't in the show until the very end. Then I don't know if people weren't watching the show because they got that Monday off, so they used that Sunday night to hang out, have a great time. I was like, girl, I'll catch that when I catch it. Not necessarily sure, but y'all let me know what it is that you guys are thinking about it, and we'll see if it's going to continue to drop come next week. Is it going to stay at that 64 range or whatever the case is? All right, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. But I feel like it's a good thing for Miss Kenya. Okay, for her to, and not even just this particular episode with, and let me show you guys this, not just for this particular episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but just in general. I feel like ever since she left the show, it just started to like slowly dip and take a dip and take a dip and take a dip. Right? The girls, I do feel the cast they have is able to maintain with what they have, but then at the same time, it's that thing that's super exciting to make us want to run and rush tired televisions to like really watch the show. I feel like the past few episodes have been like, okay, all right. I feel like the last episode we got that probably could have been a big deal was when Angela told Brit that she had miles on her mouth. Okay, not with those stretch marks around it. Like, that probably was one that likely got some good views on it potentially. But other than that, since Kenya left, I don't think they've been doing that great. I think a lot of the fans are upset with how Bravo handled this situation because people are feeling like, dang, like, we don't like Brit. Okay, so you got rid of Kenya only to keep Brit? What? And honestly, I don't even know if people would still like Brit if Kenya was still around. If Kenya was still there, I think we would have likely still come to the same conclusion when it comes to Brit. Because I think the issue is when people feel like they could see through things that you're saying when you're lying or whatever the case is, how they try so hard to put that off on Drew and she be the only person they call out for some reason. I think that may have something to do with it. And girl, you just really hurt yourself with this past event that you did. It was a bit disappointing. It was a bit disappointing, okay? But aside from that, we are going to get into more because that is where I want us to get into her event, all right? So, like I said, she hosted an event for Bare and Naked, which is some shapewear line that she's trying to do. And, when she was doing this event, it was real weird because for the people that did not see the show, she just had a lot of stuff going on. The ladies were dressed for like a nice, somewhat, I'm not even going to say upscale, but a really nice, well put together event. The outside wasn't even done yet, according to Miss Eady. You got everybody out there in heels as far as Shamia, Kelly, Brit. She trying to have them go out there and golf in their heels. It was just weird. And she didn't even know how to golf. We get inside. She's upset because all the guests have menus on their tables, but they're not supposed to be eating what the main cast is eating. So she really just wanted people to be in the room to make it look like her event was filled or big or whatever the case. It's something that I feel they commonly do over there in reality TV world. But really, girl, you could have did a real intimate thing when it comes to intimate clothing. All right, you could have did something real intimate for the ladies, similar to what Porsha did the previous week. Okay, so she done brought the people in there. The event is not really giving what she thought. It just was a mess, right? And she tried to put fault on the event planner. Well, the event planner decided to come to the front and she had some things to say. So let us shout out over here to shout out to the Bravo Shade Room because they were able to capture some things and this is what was said, all right? The woman says, "Hi, I'm Bella. I want to address my appearance on The Real Housewives of Atlanta where I decorated an event for Britt Edie. As the event decorator, I fulfilled everything I was asked to do and more. However, some behind the scenes details weren't shown." She says she chose to serve small bites due to budget constraints, which she confirmed in a message. "I had no control over food quantity or service as I'm not an event planner or a caterer." Okay, gotcha. I'm glad she cleared that up. She is just a decorator. She decorates the event. Okay, that's it. But let's keep going. All right. Now, she says, Yeah, she keeps going. She says, "Hi, I'm Bella. I want to address my appearance on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where I decorated an event for Britt Edie. As the event decorator, I fulfilled everything I was asked to do and more. However, some behind the scenes details weren't shown. I want to be clear. I was not responsible for the food. Brittany asked me to design a menu based on her selections, and the restaurant was in charge of providing and serving it. Secondly, the venue was not available for private use. The club was open and operating, and me and the team arrived early, not late, and it was moved around due to production, lighting, etc. All things that were out of our control. We overdid our job," she says. This is a little messy here now, Miss Brit. She chose to serve small bites due to budget constraints, which she confirmed in a message. "I had no control over food quantity or service as I'm not an event planner or caterer. My role was strictly decor. I offered input on setup, including the use of high top tables and styling the dining table, which she approved. Lastly, any claims that I overcharged or misled anyone are false. I wasn't even fully compensated for my job, and I was still in dispute about my balance. There's a clear difference between an event decorator and an event planner. Confusing the two unfairly shifts blame." Okay. She was only there to decorate. That was it. All right. Now, who's going to go about securing your location for you and doing planning the food and doing all that? That's not my job. Okay. You give me the location. You tell me what your desires are. I come in there. I decorate. I go on about my business. Okay. That's all she's saying. This is such a bad first year for this lady. This is such a bad first year. So what was this?
What was that again?
The Country Club Classic.
Is that what we're going to call it?
How do you like my event? They're still setting up, but
it was giving a lot of themes.
I wanted to be Halloween.
And for her to say they're still setting up, who is they? Did you tell her you wanted them to decorate outside?
St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. Today, everything, but no food.
I'm really upset with how the event planner did it. It was supposed to be cocktails for everybody else, and she set it up as if it was entrees for everybody.
Make them starve.
We had food.
But
not all the other
guests
guests.
the event did not have food, and they were all watching us drooling, and I felt like I couldn't eat my food.
She didn't have food at that event because had she ate one thing, them seams on that outfit would have popped and taken all of us out.
We wanted to do, like pass the phone for donations to Uber Eats. We tried to be there with her in the moment, but
That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's what's going on. But listen, all right, I have to shout out the Carter Files over on Twitter, because I want us to get into this video where this creator says that she had a full conversation with this woman about Miss Edie's event. So let's check this out.
Britt Edie's event decorator gave me all the tea from the Country Club Classic. Her name is Bella, and her business is Infinity Event Design. I am tagging her TikTok and Instagram below, so make sure to check her out because she's amazing. And before we get to the tea, I want to highlight what a great job she did at this event. I love all the florals. I love all.
I don't even feel like they showcased this on the cameras. Like, did y'all see any of this? I don't recall seeing this stuff.
The colors. Here's another photo of the floral. I love the little photo wall. So fabulous.
But y'all, even with that, like, it just doesn't, like, how do you have bare, girl, it was slick giving bare and naked, honestly. But at the same time, it just did not complement what you were trying to do. If you were trying to have like a Darby party or something like that, a Darby brunch, yes. But bare and naked and, girl, the whole idea, it was just thrown together. And I think the event decorator did a good job with the florals and all of that, but the idea, the theme, like,
here's the room all set up. Like I said, make sure to go to her page and check her out because she's amazing. But let's get into the juicy stuff. So first, Britt has not paid her for the whole event. She paid.
Baby. The event person says she also didn't pay me for the whole event. She paid partial. She couldn't deposit. She still owed me $1,700. Okay. I guess the girl said, do you care if I share? She says, nope, go ahead and use it as you please. Everyone is doing it. I'm just sharing, on, I guess, my side of the story. Let's keep
Paid
going.
partial, and she said she couldn't pay a deposit, but she still owes her $1,700. Then I asked her what the heck went down with the food and were people pissed. She said people were upset because there was a moment where Kelly had to ask production why people weren't being fed. As a result, production went into the kitchen and brought out more hors d'oeuvres for the guests. Some people even thought they could pick up a menu from the cast members' table and order food on their own, which shows just how hungry they were.
Wow.
She said Britt didn't care. Her husband was eating and drinking, and they weren't bothered. It was embarrassing for me to watch coming from an East African family member. Apparently, she also...
No, we got to go back. I want to finish that message. She says, I was uneased with the whole situation. Food is the number one thing you have when hosting an event. So it was so uneased with the entire, I guess she meant to say I was so uneased with the entire situation.
Apparently, she also wanted the room to look full. That was her strategy, so she would come off as popular, but she clearly missed the mark. She says the people that were there are known in Atlanta, and they weren't just anybody.
So let's go back, all right? Let's go back a little piece. Okay, she wanted the room to look full. That was her strategy. So she came off popular. But she missed the part where when you invite guests and they're all dressed up, wasn't anybody I guess she meant to say these people weren't just anybody. These people have money. These people are known in Atlanta. She says they weren't just anybody. ATL, everybody know each other. It's very small. You know who's who. So to her, this is mad embarrassing. All right. Then she goes on to say to facilitate the event, she should have an event coordinator. It would be beneficial for her to have her own team, including an assistant to help with the planning. As the event planner, she handled tasks like creating the flyers and coordinating with production team. However, she seems to be quite overwhelmed in everything going on at the event. I guess she seemed to be quite overwhelmed. She says, I was hired to decorate. That was the only job I had. All right. Girl, I could have planned something better than that, though. Goodness.
And they weren't just anybody. She also shared this to her Instagram story a couple days ago. She said, as the event decorator, I fulfilled everything I was asked to do and more. I was not responsible for the food. Brittany asked me to design a menu based on her selections, and the restaurant was in charge of providing and serving it. Secondly, the venue was not available for private use. The club was open and operating, and me and the team arrived early, not late, and was moved around due to production, lighting, etc. All things that were out of our control. We overdid our job. She chose to serve small bites due to budget constraints, which she confirmed in a message. I also did see the message of her saying that, but there were important things in the message, so I can't share that. My role was strictly decor. I offered input on setup, including the use of high top tables and styling the dining tables, which she approved. Then she says, lastly, any claims that I overcharged or misled anyone are false. I wasn't even fully compensated for my job, and there's still a dispute about my balance. There is a clear difference between event decorator and event planner. Confusing the two unfairly shifts blame. This is actually so insane to me. I'm assuming she hasn't paid her because she's blaming her for what went wrong, but it clearly was not this lady's fault, and it was clearly Brittany being stupid and not knowing how to run an event. But this is so embarrassing for her and not good for her reputation at all in Atlanta. Britt Edie's
Child, it is not good. That is not good. And it makes me think, when she talks about budget constraints, I'm like, are you talking about your budget or Bravo's budget? I'm willing to believe it could be Bravo's, considering the fact that they've been having folks filming in other people's backyards. For real, for real. She could have just had it in Shamia's backyard, like I already told y'all, okay? She could have, I feel like it's so many other things that she could have done, right? But anywho, okay, budget constraints, don't know whose, but either way, disappointing. But you know who's not disappointed and getting a kiki is Kenya Moore, because not only are you out here continuing to look like somewhat of a fraud, especially to her, okay, who is this? All right, so you're continuing to look like a fraud as she's labeled you, but then also Kenya's getting a chuckle off of the fact that people were saying Phaedra was coming back to revive the show or to do whatever since Kenya left. Mind y'all, probably about 5 episodes or so don't went by before they brought Phaedra back, since Kenya left. And Kenya's getting a chuckle because it's like, and watch them ratings take that big dip. Okay, you came out better keeping me around, honey. So Kenya's definitely somewhere laughing her ass off, and I'm not gonna say she shouldn't be, because child, all of this here is definitely a key to me. All right, y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. How are you all feeling about Britt's event? How she handled this situation with the event decorator, okay? And the fact that she still owes this lady money to this day. Child, that's crazy, because they always talk about how reality stars like to act like they got it like that when they really don't. And I feel like this is one of those examples, right? Not you out here shaking and moving like you got it, but this lady still waiting on her $1,700. That's crazy. That's terrible, actually. Is there anything else that I wanted to tap into? I think it was just a little piece, was it? I want to get into this real quick, all right? Where Porsha and Dennis sit down and they pretty much chat about like their relationships and stuff. So let's listen to it over here on Housewife from a Housewife.
And come around you and love on you and your kid, they also have to kind of fuck with him a little bit.
They do, but I agree with you. Because I now realize you was helping me. To be like, now wait a minute. Appreciate you. Yeah, right.
Got it.
Right,
Thank you.
right,
Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
okay.
Because that's my point. Was my point to him?
Yeah.
Was to your point is we're just cool. At the end of the day, and if we open up our dynamic of us being cool with the person from the very get-go, he already knows what it is. Like he could have been cool with my other situation, but co-parenting gets complicated when you have someone. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like an emotion, because I think there's always like this feeling of like you could get back together in somebody's mind. And then when you get someone and then you take it all the way to the hill, it's like, okay, yeah, well, it's fuck.
But they have reason with you. You be acting funny about anybody he dates.
Oh, huh?
They have reason to feel that way with you.
Me?
Yes.
I ain't funny with who he dates?
Yes. Anytime he dates somebody, you're like, she can't come.
No. Okay.
So I would see how your husband might be like,
Dennis.
What y'all got going on?
So I agree with Lauren on this, because let me tell you why. When Lauren was around us and he was trying to date, it wasn't a date. He was just bringing some girl around.
He was doing
to try to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. To try
do too much,
and
right?
Be like,
right. But Lauren wasn't there when he had a real girlfriend who really cared about my daughter, who even came to her school. She made little baggies.
What's she
He had a real girl. A real woman. He had a good girl.
Sister wife.
She literally made all these bags for the
Lauren's so messy.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I mean.
I don't know.
Is she cute?
She look like me.
You like that?
It's been like 1, 2 so far.
and they all look like you.
They look like me.
Oh my God, I'm done.
He's gonna come around you and love on you and.
Is that why she was over there thinking that he was messing with Drew, because the girls he has chosen look like you and so does Drew? That's crazy. But I'm glad Lauren called that out, because I really believe that is exactly how Porsha shows up when it comes to Dennis. Like, it's a situation where I don't know. I think in her head, I think somewhere down the road, they both can see each other getting back with each other. But in the meantime, in between time, while they figuring out their life, I could see her being a bit, possessive over him. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, she can't come, yada, yada, yada. I feel like by the time she met the new girlfriend, it probably was a little too late for her to even have a say-so or anything. You know what I'm saying? The new girl that was over there giving all the snacks and everything to the daughter. But it's okay for her to give snacks, though, Porsha. And Shamia, it's okay for that woman to bring snacks and stuff down to the baby's school, but it's not okay for Drew to say that the money she gonna make gonna be able to help pay for PJ's college. That's crazy. But anyway, girl, they got a show to make. That's all I got. All right. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Of course, I'm Jami. That's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jami. That's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM and the ATL. They done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF. Got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up. to take it over. I'm Invader Zim on a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man? They say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film. I can feel the pool. We